Joining us on the What Now to discuss the development is UK immigration lawyer Dayo Fadina. Good to have you join us.
Oh, good afternoon. It's a pleasure, and good afternoon to your viewers.
So let me get your thought first on this ruling before we look at other developments around it. What do you make of the Supreme Court ruling?
Oh, thank you very much. The Supreme Court ruling was quite right and proper. It was the right thing for the president of the Supreme Court to do, to rule very, very clearly that the Rwandan immigration policy, that is shipping or sending asylum seekers to Rwanda, that very particular policy is unlawful. It was the right proper decision. You see, this matter has been going on for well over about 18 months now. We've had so many legal tussles and protracted delays, regarding this matter. The situation should never actually have happened at all, because this policy should never ever have been put into being, and even having the light of the day at all. Right from the beginning, it was a very, very awful policy, just targeting a few people who are human beings like you and I, just because of the fact that they are claiming asylum in the UK. The government then thought it fit that such people should now be sent to Rwanda for that claim to be concluded and decided. It was not right from the beginning, and it's not right now. And it was a good thing that the highest court in the UK ruled very firmly, clearly and unambiguously, that this very particular policy is totally wrong.
And what we understand now is the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, in his speech after that ruling, has said he's going to work around an emergency law. But can an emergency law take precedence over a Supreme Court ruling?
Well, it will depend on what we really mean by emergency laws. We are not too clear as to what he has in mind to do with these emergency laws that is drafting, that his government is actually drafting at this point in time. But you see, whatever the emergency rules and regulations or whatever is thinking of putting into place are, a Supreme Court ruling, it will be unprecedented that a clear Supreme Court ruling stating very clearly that this very particular Rwandan policy is unlawful, for an act of parliament to not be passed to want to override that very particular rule. It will be unprecedented, and unheard of in the UK. And you say there's what's called the division of powers. You have the executive, you have parliament, and you also have the judiciary. For a clear court case to be, ruled against by an act of parliament, by passing an act, a bill into an act, stating that that the Supreme Court's judgment would be totally wrong, and for that reason, we would want to at least disregard it and regard it as invalid. I doubt whether that could actually happen at all. And another thing that could also happen is, even if if this very particular act of parliament in form of the illegal immigration bill, if it's even actually passed into law, which I doubt, because there will be so many parliamentarians who will be totally against it. But even if it's not passed into law, there will be so many challenges regarding the fact that you cannot exclude, common law. You cannot exclude judicial review of such a very particular act. You cannot exclude people truly and really challenging that very type of act of parliament. And that could be bogged down in court for so many months. And I cannot see, I won't really see this happening, or the government even being able to get through this so-called emergency act before next year's elections. And let's face it, the real reason for all this is to do with next year's election. The British government, what they are trying to do right now is to at least portray the fact that it's immigration and asylum rules and regulations are the major problem of the UK. It's not, they are not, right? You cannot just target asylum seekers and conclude that because of the fact that they're coming through, they are coming to the UK through all these small boats or going through the Mediterranean. They are the major problem of immigration in the UK. That's not right. The reason behind this is that they are playing to the gallery of the British, not the majority of them, but a very large.
The conservatives.
Yes, they are playing to that very particular gallery to try to show that they are doing something very good about immigration and asylum seeking, whereas that's not the case at all.
And we'll see how conservatives all around the world have a very hard stance on immigration, but we'll see whether this particular judgment will set precedents for other hardline immigration policies of the Rishi Sunak administration. Thank you so much for talking to us, UK immigration lawyer Dayo Fadina.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.